NBA Monday, time to talk about Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Do the Lakers have a last gasp in them? We'll find out in just a few hours tonight. You're watching Fast Break Bets presented by DRF Sportsbook. Gino Bacola alongside Erik from ETOF21 Sports. We encourage all of you in the state of Iowa right now, head on over to DRF Sportsbook and sign up and use our promo code FAST1000. It'll give you a $1,000 deposit match. FAST1000. We're also going to talk some fantasy sports. We'll talk about a website that's called Thrive Fantasy, and Erik and I will give out some props that you can parlay on that website. If you're looking around on Thrive Fantasy, use the promo code GINO when you deposit Gino. It'll give you a match bonus, anything from 25 all the way up to 250. So, Erik, we had the same four teams from the bubble from a few years ago that made the Final Four, with 2 in the Eastern Conference, 2 in the Western Conference. We had a lot of NBA executives and people in the TV side that were keeping their fingers crossed for a Celtics-Lakers final. You would have had the 2 most historic teams in the NBA, one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports, and it would have been for the NBA championship. But you know what? The Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets had something else to say about that. Now, the series that we have the 2 different series, they're completely different in that, you know, Denver has been very good this year. They've been the best team in basketball all throughout the year, Erik, in a year where a lot of teams were inconsistent, made changes. Teams don't look like they may have a few months ago. Denver has consistently been good all year. On the East side, that's a lot different. I mean, what Miami's doing is insane. Honestly, we've never seen something like this. This Miami team, they lost their first play-in game. They were down with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in their second play-in game to the Bulls. Then as the 8 seed, they went on the road and beat the NBA favorites to win the title, the Milwaukee Bucks. Following that, they go on the road to Madison Square Garden and they beat a hot up-and-coming Knicks team. And now following that, they go on the road to Boston, and they're up 3-0 right now after winning 2 games in Boston against the second favorite to win the NBA title before the playoffs started, the Boston Celtics. I can't recall anything like this ever. There's never really been anything like this, right?
No, not that I can remember. There was the strike shortened season where the Knicks were an 8 seed. That's when they had Larry Johnson, who was hitting all those threes. They made a run. They lost to the Spurs. I think it was 4-0, 4-1 in the finals. That's kind of the closest thing that I can hit on it. 2 interesting series. It's kind of crazy just to kind of think that, hey, the 3 top seeds in the East could all be looking for new coaches this offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of crazy to think.
And this may have been this may be a blow it up moment for Boston, right? More so, and we'll talk about the Lakers in a moment, because as disappointed I am as a Laker fan to be down 3-0, I think the expectations, perspective, all have to come in play here. This Boston team was in the finals last year. I mean, this same group. They had Golden State beat early in that series. Then late in that series, they couldn't deal with Steph Curry. This year, they came back. They were wearing the unfinished business shirts all year. To start the year, they were very, very good. And even to start the playoffs, the first couple games against Atlanta, they were fine, but they were not good down the stretch there. They were not good against Philly. They very easily could have lost that series too. I think this team has struggled, and you wonder now, can you keep running it back with this same group when it's not, they are losing 3-0, and so are the Lakers, but the Lakers covered in 2 of those 3 games. Like the 2 games on the road, they didn't get beat up, right? The Lakers, one of the games they lost by 6, the other by 5. If we were to say the Lakers were up 2-1 in this series, it wouldn't have been that crazy. Like that many things wouldn't have had to change. Boston has gotten their asses kicked as a heavy favorite. Erik, they were a double-digit point favorite in game 2, right? Like 9.5, 10 points.
Yeah. It's really quite crazy to see how much they have fallen off. Obviously, with the Jaylen Brown contract situation, with him coming off the books and everything, and needing to re-up him making the All NBA second team, that's going to bump up his salary. I mean, realistically, they are going to have to probably trade him. I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know exactly what you're going to trade for him. The thing is if you kind of look at the May 10th, All NBA was announced. Ever since May 10th, ever since that was announced, that's kind of when the shooting decrease kind of happened. So it kind of is like, did that have something to do with it? Did he, finally get announced? Did he kind of let off a little bit?
A little comfortable?
I kind of feel the person I feel the worst for is I kind of feel bad for Grant Williams, because you kind of look at everything. He's the only guy who actually shows like a little fight out there.
A little passion. He's trying.
Like, yeah. Everyone else is just kind of there.
Their body language is so bad. And that's, again, like, it's hard not to compare these two different series because they're going on at the same time and because both teams are down 3-0. But again, like, you compare game 3 of the Boston-Miami series to game 3 of the Lakers-Nuggets series. Like, Murray goes crazy again early, but the Lakers keep fighting back, right? Like, the Lakers keep having a run and they go up. They're up in the fourth quarter. Boston has they didn't even have a punch back. You could see their body language. They were dragging. They looked like they were completely checked out.
They had too much energy complaining about refs, bitching about calls and everything. My one thing about the Lakers game is Malone finally did what, I called out in game 1. I was like, look, this isn't an Aaron Gordon series. He benched Aaron Gordon for the entire fourth quarter, and that was that kind of put him over in that game 3, allowed them to go on their run with no Aaron Gordon. Also, my issue with Ham is I have 2 issues with Ham. Issue number 1, talked about it, way too much dealing. Like,
the thing is, in game 3, he only played 20 minutes, and the problem. But the only problem is, Eric, here's the problem: the Lakers have LeBron, AD, Reeves, and Rui. Other than that, here's the 4 guys that they're in their rotation right now. Dennis Schroeder. You know what Dennis Schroeder is shooting? 30% from the field. Dennis Schroeder has been worse offensively than D'Angelo. Those 2 guys combined have been combining for 57 minutes a game, scoring 12 points and shooting 29 and 35%. Lonnie Walker only has 17 points in 3 games, and Jared Vanderbilt has 6 points in the series. That's the only – so I agree in that D'Angelo has struggled. Who are they supposed to go to if you're going to Schroeder and he's terrible, and you're going to Lonnie Walker and he's not making shots? That's the only problem.
But at least with those guys aren't a liability on defense that Russell is.
But the only difference is that he's a much better 3-point shooter than them. That's what we keep and what hurts is that Lonnie is a little different because Lonnie is probably just a better option right now than D'Angelo in this series. But like when Schroeder's in there, for example, now all of a sudden when you've got Schroeder in there with like LeBron and AD, all of a sudden their spacing isn't very good. Because that's 3 guys that all want to go right at the lane, and Denver doesn't defend Schroeder the way that you have to defend D'Angelo just a little bit, right? Just to get out in his face. So, no, I agree with you. 35 minutes is too much, D'Angelo. He played 20 minutes last game, and it just comes down to Denver's top 6 players, including Gordon. Gordon has 1 game in the series where he scored single digits. He scored 8 points. The other 2 games, he scored at least 10. KCP scored 7 points in 1 game. The other 2 games, KCP has been in double digits. All 6 of the top 6 players for Denver are shooting 40% from 3. As a team, they're shooting 41% from 3. It's just one of those things where you just kind of look at it, and when I was looking at the overall series stats, it just makes so much sense. Denver has 6 guys they can play, and right now the Lakers have 4 guys that they've been able to play in this series. That is truly the difference. Like, they just don't have another guy or two that's been making the shots. Last series, it was Lonnie. D'Angelo had good moments also last series. This series, neither one of them has really helped. On top of that was Schroeder, and then Murray's averaging 35, and that sort of leads us to our first play, right? We got to keep going until that regression.
And then real quick, my other thing with the issue with Cam was, we can all agree AD has been top 2, top 3 in the playoffs.
Down the stretch, no AD late in fourth.
I know there was at the 8:03 mark, they ran the pick and roll play for him where he hit the dunk.
They were up by 1 point. The Lakers were up by 1 point at that time with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They were up by 1.
And then later on, I think at the 6:40 mark, they ran the same play. He missed the dunk, the layup, whatever, and then he got a rebound off it and put it up. That was his last shot. So basically, he had 3 shots, 2 of which were pre-calls. The other one was just a hustle rebound. So that was kind of my issue.
And that's on Ham and Erik and LeBron both, right? LeBron more because Austin Reeves is still a little younger, and D'Angelo and some of those guys, they're not the leader that LeBron is. LeBron has to understand, late in the game, what is your major advantage, especially in the games when Anthony Davis is playing well, like he was the other night.
He had a good game. He had an insanely good game.
Everything was good, and Erik, you've hit this point often in that, late in the game with LeBron, I think this last game should have been more of a go to AD, go to Austin Reeves. It should have been late in the game. And those 2 guys were better options. Maybe this game, LeBron will have a better touch, a better feel. But it's frustrating because I feel so conflicted as a Laker fan, because man, this team, like I said, 2 months ago was 13th. They've had a really good run. They've played very good basketball for a long stretch of time, and had, a 5-minute stretch gone different the other night. And we're talking about a 2-1 game, a 2-1 series, everything feels different. Yeah. So I don't want to let that slip away because I'm remembering the bad right now. I think they're going to play well tonight, and you do too. You feel like that they're not going to just give up. So the main play
they're going to go out there. I mean, my 3 plays are Jamal Murray. I'm taking the under 26.5. I think they're going to make some defensive adjustments to take him away. We saw his historic first half, but only in the second half, he only scored 7 points. So he started to come back down to earth. He still has an ear infection and isn't near 100%. So I did do that one.
I had the same play too. We're on the same. We both had the same play on Murray under.
Correlated with that, I took James over 24.5. He's played 21 elimination games in his career. In those elimination games, he's gone over this total 18 of 21 games and is averaging 33.5 points. So I expect him to go after it. He doesn't want to get swept in the conference finals. So I like the over 24.5 points. And
Erik, I played the same one. I played the same one as you here also with LeBron. I think the Lakers are going to win 2 games. I think they're going to win this game and win 1 up there, and then maybe lose after, just sort of run out of gas. But I think he's going to ramp up to try to get a couple. And even tonight, I don't think the officials are going to want these both to be sweeps, right? They're going to give the Lakers the benefit of the doubt to extend this game.
NBA finals don't start until July 1st.
They don't want a whole week off.
That's going to be 9 days. That's going to be 9 days.
That's nuts.
So I only played the first half, just because
I'm not even playing the Lakers side, but I think they're going to win by 15 or 20 tonight. I really do.
Favorites off a loss in the first half are 58% ATS. Murray, historic first half. I expect him to come back. Shot quality graded game 3 actually as a win for the Lakers. And like you said, I'm expecting a high quality first half for them to really look, press, go after it, get out and run a little bit more. Didn't play the full game though, just because I just didn't. I don't know. I just
This
really
dude,
didn't
this
like
might
what
be
I
one of those
saw
series where
from the fourth
like
from the
like
fourth
we
quarter
said,
from them.
Denver's is good, and they're every one of their role players is playing at the highest possible level right now. And if that continues and they're just going to outplay the Lakers in close games, and this is what happened. And that's why this series is different than the other one, in that, dang, you look down the stretch and the clutch moments were huge. Like in two of these games, the Lakers had a lead going into the fourth quarter. Denver hits 3 threes in a row. And then last game, Denver goes on a 13-point run in the fourth quarter. That is impressive. That is what championship teams do. When there's a game that's a 50-50 game that can go either way, they came and stole it. And what's been impressive is it's been in all different ways, because we think about Jamal Murray and he's the one that stood out. But the other night, it was KCP, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, 3-3-3, all in a row, like different guys, So they're hitting there, and you can see it. It's the D'Angelo gets an open 3, miss, right back the other way, open 3, hit, 6-point swing, just instantly, So Denver deserves to be up 3-0. Denver will now have to have the pressure of trying to close out LeBron James and this Lakers team. We will see if they can do that tonight. Erik, before we get out of here, though, let's talk a little bit about Thrive Fantasy. What are your Thrive Fantasy plays for this evening?
I did, obviously, Murray under the 26.5. And then I did the LeBron James over in points and assists. It's 42.5. He's gone over this in 18 of 21 elimination games, and he's gone over this total in 2 out of 3 games. This series, I expect him to look to be offensive, look to dominate, look to do his thing.
So we both with the Murray, and you are also rolling with the LeBron over points, rebounds, assists. So I'm going to put in Erik's little parlay here for $5. If you parlay these two props together for $5, it gets you back 16. Now, why that is important? When you play with this website, they give you better value for your parlays. If you were to go look up what it would pay out if you parlayed 2 props on any other site, you're not going to get back 3.2 times your entry. 3 out of 3 gives you 5.2 times your entry. So not only do you get the option to bet in places like California, Texas, where you can't legally wager on sports yet, but you can play in daily fantasy contests and in prop contests like this. You get the option, and they give you a bonus, Erik. They give you more value. If you're watching this show, you're probably someone who bets often. Don't you just want to get a little bit better value every day, every time we play? Like, in the long run, that's going to help us out so much.
Yeah, you want to always shop around, get the best lines. If you can parlay these, 2 player props together, get 3.2 to 1. That's great ROI, and that's what it's all about.
I'm going to give him one more shot, Erik. I'm keeping the faith one more time with my guy. And what's nice is look at how low this number is for D'Angelo, 10.5 now. That is really low. That's a couple threes, puts him right in there. If he's starting again, we're not, then a few threes. But like what I'm saying is they can't dust off like a Troy Brown right now or a Beasley at this point. You probably could have done that maybe earlier in the series, but I don't know if backs to the wall in a total elimination game, you can bring someone in like that who hasn't been in the rotation at all recently. You need 20 minutes from this guy. And he's the type of guy that if he hits 1 or 2 early, well, then that confidence balloons and he gives you a better effort defensively. And what hurts is that Murray's been killing everyone defensively, whether it was D'Angelo or Schroeder or Vanderbilt or LeBron. D'Lo, we need a 15 from you tonight, buddy, if the Lakers are going to push it to a Game 5 in Denver. Any final thoughts, Erik?
No, hopefully we get a good game after what we saw last night from the Celtics.
Yeah, I feel better just about the Lakers pushing it than the Celtics another game, just based on body language and how they looked. Like the Lakers seem like, ran into a team that just executed a little bit better down the stretch. Celtics, I don't know mentally if they're there. We're going to find out tomorrow, and we'll be back right here at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time to talk Celtics and Heat. Will the Heat close out the Celtics tomorrow? We'll find out. Don't forget about DRF Sportsbook. If you're in Iowa, use that promo code FAST1000. Thrive Fantasy, use the promo code GINO. And Erik and I will be back talking more NBA tomorrow.